Now the Patriots tied with the Broncos atop the conference at 12-3. However, Denver controls its own destiny, can clinch the top seed and a bye in the first round by winning its final 2 games against the Chiefs in the Chargers. Peter, a blown fourth-quarter lead for Baltimore. Don't worry, people, we're going to get into the Patriots side of things, but what went wrong for the Ravens?
Didn't even show the non-pass interference call on Booty, which was an insane non-call, and that could have gone their way as well. Ravens lost again at home, their 3rd straight loss. They lost to the Bengals on Thanksgiving. They lost to the Steelers, and now they've lost to the Patriots after being up 11 in the 4th quarter. It's head-scratching that this is what it is now in Baltimore, where it used to be you don't come out of there with a victory, and they're going to beat you and pound you when you're there. So they're 3-6 on the season, and now they've got only road games left at home. Turnovers, mistakes. Lamar was hurt the entire season, never seemed like this team ever got out of their funk. And now it's the Steelers' division to lose, and to do that would be catastrophic, and they'd have a lot of things to go wrong. So you look at this window. They have a 2-time MVP quarterback, 3-time first-team All-Pro, and this group never made it to a Super Bowl. You start to wonder, are we talking about it in the past tense, or is this one that can just, hey, we snap our fingers, we're back at it next year? I don't know. Same coach, same quarterback. They never got to play in a Super Bowl with this crew.
When I tell you I love this team, I love this team. I've been a huge fan of the Ravens and Lamar Jackson since he's gotten there. They turn the football over too much in critical games. The games that they have these back-breaking turnovers. The Derrick Henry fumble was a drive that looked like it was at least going to end up in a field goal, but this drive was looking good enough to get into the end zone. Here, you see I don't know what Mark Andrews is doing right here. Thank goodness for the penalties, and obviously it nullified the play. And then Zay Flowers, this is a great job by Caleb Chase on. You may see him later, but you got to take care of the football. Remember the last time we saw Zay Flowers in a critical spot in a game, going in for a touchdown, fumbled the football in a similar situation. Look, I don't want to belabor this, but the Baltimore Ravens have to look at themselves in the mirror and understand that the value of the football has potentially squandered their opportunities to go to Super Bowls or, in this case, make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It makes you scratch your head. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. A lot of people did preseason, and it just has not gone their way for many reasons. Let's talk about the Patriots, though. Yeah. How impressive was the performance of Drake Maye?
First off, when Drake Maye go home this offseason, all the brothers need to call him Big Bro. They're going to stop Lil Broing him.
Drake!
Well, Drake! Because Drake Maye, 2 times this year, he's had to fight through adversity and show us what he was made of the next week. Pittsburgh Steelers, early on in the season, they come back, play the Carolina Panthers, beat them 42-13. This week was even more difficult. When he faced the blitz early on in this game, Darius Washington gets a sack, forced fumble. Late in this game, they absolutely ate the blitz up, and it was because he recognized it. It was because he attacked it, he anticipated, and used his legs. The big Kyle Williams throw late, and then a huge 4th and 2 on that last drive where you beat Darius Washington with Stephon Diggs. Drake Maye is showing us it's not just about the talent, but what this kid is made of intangibly, and I love what we saw from him against the Ravens.
Now he's the best in-the-pocket quarterback in the NFL. 2 game-winning drives this year. Game-winning drive 1 was the first win against Buffalo on the road. And then last night, down 11 on the road at the bank. And if you go through that drive, it's vintage New England this year. Double chip crosser. How many times have we seen this from this season? Where they protect the edges, he rips a crosser. Play number 2, okay? Steph at the number 3 spot, working a one-on-one route on 2nd down. Number 3, corner pressure. Where's my hot? To the tight end right now. Beat the blitzer, ball out of my hand. Number 4, 4th and 2. This ball's 1 inch behind. It's going to be batted away and they lose. But Steph in the slot. Number 3, you're going to get pocket movement, climb the pocket, find the outlet, completion, and then the game-winning run. 6 offensive linemen. Look how Baltimore almost is adjusted too much over the edge, all the way to the left side of our screen. They're just running like duo here, front side, but everybody's inside out blocking, and then there's that Stevenson run. This has kind of been who this football team has become. Drake Maye is so good of understanding the why of what they're doing. The pocket movement is elite. The ball placement is off the charts good. And when they got to make the plays, they make the plays. And it's because their young quarterback gets them in the situation to do so. Very, very impressive win on the road in that situation.
The Bucs win this week in Miami. The Week 18 game against the Panthers in Tampa Bay will decide the NFC South winner. RC, how did Bryce and company get it done?
The thing is this, Bryce Young though he's had some inconsistencies, he's been his best when the Carolina Panthers have needed him most. And it made me start to think about week 13 versus the Los Angeles Rams when he was facing pressure and saw one-on-one on the outside. Here, you're going to see that he hits Coker down the sideline against Emmanuel Forbes. They brought pressure. He saw the one-on-one on the outside. Look at Bryce right now. He understands that he's going to get pressure. They're playing zero on the back end. He makes the check. He makes sure he has the protection set. And down on the bottom, he has a one-on-one with Tedoror, McMillan, and Dean. He's going to press Dean to the inside, fade away. It's a perfect throw under pressure by Bryce Young. Now, we'll see the same thing again late in this game. You're going to get a 5-man rush. There's press by Benjamin Morrison, the rookie, up top. It's going to be an inside release and then a stack. And as soon as he stacks him, another throw right to the outside for Coker again. Bryce Young is recognizing these pressures. He's seeing where he has the one-on-one, and he's making the throws. In order to get in this position, though, the defense had to stop Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How were they able to do that?
RC, the pass defense was great, and usually you're the one talking about this, but it's something that popped off the film for me. Yeah. Mike Evans was not able to dominate this game. Obviously threw the fade to him for a touchdown early in the game, and you saw Ransom come up with the pick. But more importantly, like when Bucky Irvin got going early, I was like, this is going to be a problem for Carolina. They're going to have to include people in the box, and now these receivers are going to be able to take over this game. This secondary is doing a phenomenal job. We coming off a couple weeks ago with J.C. Horn took over a game. I think this young team is gelling, starting to learn how to win. And from a defensive standpoint, they're getting pressure up front, and they're taking care of the back end. This may be a sneaky team when they get into the back door, especially with the way you just talked about Bryce's play.
They're just one of those teams that has to be consistent, but if they get hot, they're one of those teams that can also put out somebody that may be picked to beat them.
Wow, the Bears now have an 89% chance to win the NFC North, according to ESPN Analytics. Chicago can clinch the division with a win on Sunday Night Football against the 49ers or a Packers loss on Saturday night against the Ravens. Peter, let's start with Caleb Williams. What do you make of what he's doing in recent weeks as he's now on the verge of winning the NFC North?
Laura, you see the pass and the hands into the warmer, you're like, that's his Jordan moment. That's so cool that he had that moment. But he was so good on third down all game, and he's been so good on third down all season. This stat is crazy. The most total touchdowns and the highest passer rating for any quarterback when trailing on third down plays. It's Caleb Williams. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Joe Burrow. It's Caleb. He's been so clutch all season. He has this incredible game. He's on pace to have one of the greatest seasons ever as a Bears quarterback. They're in the driver's seat for the division, all this stuff. And what I love is, how are you going to be the face of the franchise? What do you do the very next morning? 9 a.m., he and Pete Crow Armstrong, the player from the Cubs, they were out doing a toy drive and feeding the homeless out there in Chicago on Sunday. I like that stuff. I think that stuff matters. Obviously, Ben Johnson and Caleb have something going on, but he's also maturing into the face of the franchise, and that is a huge deal for a team whose history is not littered with many of those.
It's been a process, too. I mean, earlier in the season, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams trying to make sure they're on the same page, some hard coaching that Caleb received well. He's learned a lot, and it kind of still feels like there's more potential to be had
Just
out
scratching
of him,
the surface.
It's crazy. Dan, on the Packers side of things, only 16 points. I know Jordan Love went down with the injury. Malik Willis also got hurt, but what's going wrong for that offense?
Yeah, I would say this game, some of the habits or issues that have kind of concerned Matt LaFleur's tenure in Green Bay reared their ugly heads. I mean, this team was 0 for 5 down in the red zone. And if you're trying to pin it on the one thing or the one reason why, there isn't one. I mean, I don't love the 4th and 1 play call early on. Then it's second down, we're throwing a swing route and it's a drop. Was that going to be a positive play or not? You're down in the red zone once again. Jordan Love dropping back to pass. He's on a different page with his receiver, Christian Watson. And then, hey, don't fumble the ball. Don't give the ball away against the defense that's not very good, but they lead the NFL in takeaways. And so I think if you're Green Bay, hopefully for them they get in. But I certainly think they could look back at this game and go, that's the game that is going to keep us out of the playoffs, because we went 0-5 in the red zone again, and there's multiple plays that we could sit there and point to. Bad play call, bad scheme, bad execution, bad focus, bad paying attention to the details. And so that's obviously something they have to clean up moving from that game. But I just hope for them it doesn't come back and bite them.
RC, what stood out to you about Lawrence's performance?
Yeah, well, first off, no quarterback has had an in-season glow-up more so than Trevor Lawrence has this season, and it's been everyone. And yesterday what stood out was Parker Washington having that sort of synergy and chemistry with Trevor Lawrence on got to have it downs. On third downs, he felt like in one-on-ones, there was no player that could stop Parker Washington. Now, when you look out at this game, you're going to go away from Patrick Surtain, who was matched up on BTJ most of the day, and that meant Parker Washington could absolutely eat the entire day, whether it was Riley Moss or McMillan. It did not matter. He made play after play after play. It's sort of like the emergence of Antonio Brown. I'm not saying that they're the same people.
I was waiting for you to see you.
I'm not saying that they're the same people, but a guy who made huge plays on special teams, showed what he could do as a punt returner and a kick returner, and now finding ways to ascend in the offense.
I think there is something to that. Someone who wasn't a first-round pick and someone who had to earn his place, and now, you said it, Brian Thomas, their number one guy. He has 2 catches for 18 yards. In most situations, you say, all right, they lost that game. Lawrence spread it out to 7 different people, and they got production from everyone. I would even go far, you got Benito, you got Cooper, you got Zach Allen, no sacks. None of those guys did anything, so the offensive line stepped up also. Trevor Lawrence, blow up, absolutely. I don't know why he isn't mentioned in this forever MVP conversation. We just say Stafford and May. What Trevor Lawrence has done this year has been outstanding, and those stats might not be there. You're taking the Jacksonville Jaguars and you're putting them in the conversation for the 1 seed in the AFC? Yeah, I think that's pretty valuable.
Man, Liam Cohen's done a great job too, but defensively, Mina, Jacksonville held the Broncos to their lowest point total since early November. How'd they do it on that side of the ball?
Third down, particularly on 3rd and short. Denver went 1 for 6 in this game, and the Denver Broncos offensive line is a vaunted position group, but I thought this Jags front, combined with some really creative pressure plans from Anthony Campanile, who's been one of the more creative pressure designers in football, was a big part of why. I love the way in particular that he deployed Travon Walker in this game, lining him up inside Josh Hines-Allen, running a stunt with the other tackle, running a stunt and getting a run stuff on one of those 3rd and shorts. They do not have one of the most talented defenses in football. There's good players. But I do think right now this Jags defense is coming up with individual game plans that are very effective.
And if you watch the way that this team has continued to maneuver defensively. Yeah. Remember, early on in the season when they were winning, it was all about turnovers. Then you have a day like yesterday where you find ways to get important stops. When your offense is clicking the way Liam Cohen's offense is clicking, your defense just has to make enough plays, and they've been finding ways to do that.
I love Liam Cohen, Coach of the Year candidate for
should be in the
add him to the list.
For sure.
Hey, Duval. And this, you know what, too, though? This shows you once again. You're not paying attention to the opening press conference.
Every goofy press conference ends up being a great coach.
Sirianni's watching somewhere.
Well, exactly.
That's Adam Gase.
Okay, that's the one exception. But all of you out there who are going to get a new coach for your team coming up, if it's a goofy press conference, you should feel good about it.